Let's have a beautiful experience. In this video, we're going to talk about No Nut November and how it can make you manifest a bigger penis, naturally raise your testosterone and human growth hormone. It's a beautiful thing. You gotta love it. Alright, before we get started here, please do me a huge favor. Please ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, tell some friends. Of course, give me that Arthur Fonzarelli thumbs up like so I say, hey, you know what I mean? I'd really appreciate that. It's a beautiful thing. Of course, follow me on my social media. I go by Jesus_Detroit on my Instagram, Snapchat, I'm YOUNGDAYGO. And that's right, in this video, we're going to talk about No Nut November. And why wouldn't we? Because you know what we're all about here in the BCC, the Big Cock Consciousness, the Big Cock Collective, where I can help you manifest a bigger, wider, thicker, longer, stronger, and harder penis, help you naturally raise testosterone and human growth hormone, help you manifest the best. I'm here for you. I'm a spiritual guide and a mentor. I'm here to expand your mind and increase your size. Any serious inquiries, please get at me in the BCC. I'm here for you. I can correlate programs that can help you manifest the best, and I'm here for you. So, without further ado, I'm here to tell you about No Nut November. Now, this is a trendy thing, like as such as the MOvember, where you grow the mustache out, the No Shave November, where you grow the hair out, and more or less, it's just a positive trend if you utilize it to your best advantage. And what it all comes down to is the whole no FAP movement. And it doesn't, this is what I have to stress this out. Use it or lose it. So type that down. And it's not more or less use it it's you got to be in practice of exercise. It's not just all right, you just stop jerking off, you stop masturbating, you stop exercising, and then all of a sudden everything's manifest. To each their own, but the way I find, if you want to really manifest the best, you utilize it to your own advantage. And when we're talking about masturbation for manifestation, which is something I can teach you more clearly and more in-depth detail in the BCC, get at me. We're talking about utilizing what would normally be a wasted practice, and we're utilizing it as an exercise. Because instead of just go ahead and doing a whack and pass or a jerk before work, whatever you want to call it, whatever floats your boat in that aspect, you're gonna be charging your chi. And Montauk Chi, he's a guy I preach a lot on this on my channel here. He's a Taoist from China, and I gotta tell you, Chi means energy. And the Tao practice beliefs is that, you charge up your chi, you charge up your seed, and you're able to put that into your body. I do the Wu Wei Flow, which is another Tao practice, which is the path of least resistance. And, it's something that really helps me out in my day-to-day. And I do the semen retention, which is a practice that I use daily as well. Now, you're going to have to find what works for you when you're doing this. And Montauk Chi, he's got a chart and belief system where if you're in your 20s, you should be waiting around every I think it was every 2 days before you're going to ejaculate. In your 30s, I think every 4 days, and then the 40s, it's 6 days, and by the time you get to your 60s, it's once a month. I know that might sound crazy to some, but he's from Asia, and we're here I'm from the West over here in the States, and I'm all about manifesting the best. So when I hear a chart from the East, you know what I gotta do? I chop it right in half, and I kind of put you right where you're at. And you think about that, if you're in your 20s, you should wait at least every day. You're in your 30s, wait every couple days. It's just good practice. The thing with his chart is it doesn't measure every load, because to me, no two loads are equal unless you're having that earthquake and body shake and just explosion of just an orgasm. Then it's not, you can't just throw out a maintenance load, a premature release, just whatever release. It's got to be completely aligned up and synchronistic to have that explosion feeling where you're going to be talking about, chi related, instances. And when we're talking about charging your chi, it's more or less, when I use it with my edging techniques, which I call super edging. And a lot of you guys out there aren't aware of aren't aware so much of your body and the hardness and your load. This is all stuff that you're going to have to go with the flow with as you go. You got to be more in touch with your body, and that's what I'm here to do in the BCC. I'm here to tell you that you got to get comfortable with yourself. You got to understand that you're beautiful. I believe in who you are. Understand that we're all from the stars. What's inside of me is inside of you. It's inside the blue, and inside you're true, and all truths are true. So you just got to find the ones that make you. And what I'm talking about here is making that, going with that flow of charging your chi. And this is something I talk about quite frequently in a lot of my videos. And, with the No Nut November, I really got to, hammer it home for you guys. And what I'm talking about here is getting in touch with your load, getting in touch with your growth. And you got to understand that, the hardness factor of your penis. And unless you're, this is where, super edging really comes into play. And this is what I do. If you don't know what edging is, edging is when you get as hard as you can and you're right at that point to where you're about to release. Now, the thing that a lot of people do not tend to say is how hard you gotta be. Now understand that your penis better be throbbing hard. Look, it's gotta be ripping up your dungarees, ripping your jeans, making a huge circus tent that's just popping everything up. A huge piece of meat that was slapping at your knees, now it's throbbing to your pecs, making you your best. And when you got that up there, when you're super edging, you got that thing throbbing hard, right? The technique is to pull on it as much as you can to make it grow. And I'm telling you, when you're doing this for, hours at a time, minutes at a time in the beginning, you're going to see an increase in size. It's just the way that it goes. It's the way that it grows. So when we're going with this flow and we're talking about keeping that thing throbbing as hard as you possibly can, now you're aware of what's going on down there. Now, another thing that you got to be aware of is where your load's at. Because a lot of people, when this is a thing that I'm going to have to bring up, they like to talk about blue balls. Now, blue balls occurs, mostly when you just think that it exists. I believe that it's a myth, all right? So write that down real quick. Blue balls is a myth. And I know what you're thinking, no way, I always get blue balls and blah, blah, blah. If you're getting blue balls from foreplay, you need to really check yourself on what's going on down there, because the only time you should be getting blue balls is from extreme stimulation and edging, all right? Because if you're only getting it from oh, come on girl, come on, we need to be good, come on, whatever, if you're just getting it from that egoic perspective of you just gotta get a nut out, then you really got to go within and you got to reevaluate where you're at. Because, like I say, to each their own. But when we're talking about growth, when we're talking about utilizing that chi for manifestation instead of the drug that you've been using it for, then this is a whole game changer for anybody. Because you can either use your load for a drug or you can use your load for the growth. And I want you to write that down. I'm using my load for the growth. Because if you're using your load for the drug, you're just more or less becoming an addict of accomplishing, this is where people talk about being a porn addict, talk about having problems on their day-to-day and how it's, no good for their life and how porn ruined this and that. And you got ads out there, I'm a superhero and I'm going to stop you from watching porn. Look, if this is stopping you from being you, 100%, that's what you got to do. You reevaluate you. I want you to get to the best you possibly can be. But if we're utilizing this as an exercise where we can give ourselves extra size, we're talking about a beautiful thing right here. We're talking about utilizing a practice which would have been looked at as a mistake, and we are manifesting it into growth. And you got to look at it from a whole new perspective. You got to at least entertain the option that you have the power within, because I believe that we are all divine, we are all magic, and we have the power to increase our size. And I'm all about it. I've been manifested. I continuously manifest in the growth every single day that I go, and I know how to harness these powers every single day. I mean, look at me right now. I know the mind body muscle connection. I can get a pump without lifting any weight, but when I lift a weight, it's just like, it's just that much more extra into my manifestation. And as you see, this is called mind body connection, mind and muscle right here. You see what I'm doing? I'm growing literally on the screen right now because I have that mind body connection. And this is what the No Nut November is about, getting in tune with your body. Like, if you know how to lift weights properly, you know how to do this without lifting the weights. Now, if you know how to masturbate properly, you know how to grow properly, you can make your penis bigger, and you can naturally raise testosterone and human growth hormone, making you manifest the best, helping you be the best you can become, and live the destiny that you were destined to be. So as you see, I'm growing on the screen just by me with my belief and my power that's inside of me to make myself grow. So with that flow, I'm here to tell you about the No Nut movement, which is about getting in tune with your load, getting in tune with your penis, understanding the hardness of it, and knowing where you're at. So quick breakdown, just to kind of reiterate this for you, for your practice for the No Nut November, because I intend on you guys to grow. I intend on you guys to have a huge piece of meat, swinging at the knees, throbbing the pecs, making you your best. Most importantly, I intend on you guys to feel confident. And I intend on you guys to love yourselves, man, because you guys are beautiful. I believe in you. You got a beautiful cock. You got a beautiful penis. You're a beautiful person. You are the divine. You are beautiful. So always believe that. And when I got this hard up, I got a hard up, hard on. I got to share my, matrix hack that I go with everywhere that I go. And it's just my flow. And I really feel that with this technique, you are giving yourself purpose and you are changing up the world for the better. If you ever see anybody on the other side of a screen, hear anybody on the other side of a phone, just acknowledge somebody on the other side of the room, see somebody on the other side of traffic, wherever you see, if you're catching eyes with somebody, just intend on that person to have a beautiful day, and you go along your way, and you are changing up this place for the better, and watch how much more beautiful things come to you, because the universe is a mirror, and if you want beauty to appear, you got to keep this clear. So whatever you're putting out there is going to ultimately come back to you, because at some aspect you're a reflection of me, I'm a reflection of you, and the person that you're seeing next to you is another reflection. So let's give that person love who you are. And I'm teaching you how to go within and love who you are ultimately. And I'm teaching you that your penis is intended and built to grow. And I'm teaching you some ancient secrets that I'm manifesting through myself with my own ways to show you the new flow to help interpret the grow. And when we're talking about the No Nut movement, it's not just about, not jerking off every day, okay? Because that is just, to me, like would you say not going to the gym is going to give you benefits as well as put it this way. It's like you got your diet right and you're not exercising. That's what the No FAP movement is really telling me. You know what I mean? It's like you got one part of it right, but if you ain't putting the pump into play, you're skipping on a whole nother level. And if you're using the No FAP to be productive with work and it's like you're stopping being lazy and having it take over your life, totally understand. I'm seeing where you're at. But if you're utilizing the No FAP for the grow, and you're able to set yourself a timing that we're not just going to blow a load for no reason, we're gonna masturbate for manifestation. We're utilizing this as exercise. You got to understand that. Instead, when you're going to bed or whenever you're starting your day, you're edging and you're growing and you're not wasting your load. And with No Nut November, why don't you set the intention to see how long you can go? Now, to go 30 days, I've done probably like at least 20. I tend not to count them, but I'm sure I've done like maybe like 20 some odd days. I remember last No Nut November, I did pretty close to the month. So far, I'd say I'm pretty sure I started. It's like the 3rd or whatever. Yeah, we can say that as of right now, I'm clear to grow. I'm always clear to grow, but I'm just gonna say that for right now, I'm gonna charge my load up as long as I can, just for the fun of the No Nut November. But I really feel that with my practices, I go off my Wu Wei flow, which I find the time to release. And I feel that there's certain times that you're just going to know when you're going to have to let it go. And that's being in tune with your body. You can't just be like, all right. And that's why I don't believe in the whole chart system, like with Montague Chi saying that in your 60s you got to go once a month. That's not for me. Like, I feel like a chart, like, you can't put science on. Look, I don't disrespect science, but I don't disrespect magic either. So write that down. Magic is beautiful, and you can't, like, put a chart on your semen retention. I'm sorry, it just doesn't compute on so many levels, just because there's so many intricate things that can just be where you're at, what you're at, where your load is, how in tune with your body. You got to go off the feel. And if this is something that you never done, anything and everything will work. So write that down. Anything and everything will work. So we're just going to talk about, if you're a beginner at this, go a couple days, see where you're at, and keep charging that chi as long as you can. And all I'm talking about is dedicate. I like to say at least an hour, but you know what? Let's do 20 minutes. Let's start with 10. Whatever you can afford to give is going to be given back to you greatly. You got to understand that. It's like going to the gym. Like in the beginning, if you're able to dedicate a half hour, that's a beautiful thing. That's one more half hour than you ever put in. If you're able to dedicate 10 minutes to this, that's 10 more minutes than you ever dedicated to your penis. So we're talking about the no nut movement, not just more or less of just like, all right, getting away from it, and I'm not nutting all month, and I'm not touching it. To me, it's like you're forgetting about your piece down there. It's like, it's like, all right, you got your diet right, but you're not working out. You know what I mean? I feel like diet, exercise, it's got to be all connected to make you manifest the best. And this is all, of course, correlated through, collective beliefs. And I feel like they can help you achieve the best, which is what the BCC, the Big Cock Consciousness, the Big Cock Collective, that's one of the intentions, because I utilize methods that are beyond who I am, that have been out for, as long as you want to call it time, whatever you want to say this is. I mean, it's been there. And these are not just my practices. These been out, in ancient civilizations. And I'm just harnessing on to the beliefs and to the, of what people have done and putting the practice into play. And I see the manifestation every single day, and I continuously grow and I continuously flow. And that's something what I'm all about here, man. I'm intending on everybody to make their penis bigger. I am intending to keep my penis growing bigger till it's throbbing in my pecs and I'm able to give it a quick how you doing. That's what I'm all about, thick like that. That's the intention, that's the belief, and that's something that, it might sound sick to some, but intriguing the most. And what I'm going with this flow is I'm just telling you that you gotta be, excited to grow. And you don't have to tell yourself that you can't achieve this, that, or the other. Just believe in the growth. Believe you can make miracles happen. I'm open for a miracle today. I want you to write that down anyways. I am open for a miracle today. And hold on real quick. Do that with me. you got a shot today. If you wake up and you got a breath, you got a shot. And that's what I always got to start my day with, because gratitude is the attitude. Every time you could take a breath, anytime that you're taking a foot out of bed, you're able to just walk outside, do whatever you got to do. You got to give thanks, because when you're in that gratitude attitude, everything manifests with a better flow. And sending that love out there is definitely the way to go. And when we're talking about this No Nut November, I'm sure you're going to be hearing more about this as we go throughout this month here. I mean, you know me, putting content out daily. And last night, you know, I slept for 24 hours, so I feel like I might as well fill you in a little bit on where I'm at. And, you know, like, for a 24-hour sleep is definitely something deep. And I know not everybody can achieve what I can do, but you know me, I'm a sleep sorcerer, and I'm always dripping that DMT, Joe Rogan, and I ain't got to snort for it, jab a vein for it. All I got to do is sleep, and I'm battling it out in the astral realms. I'm getting messages from the divine. I'm getting messages in the universe. I'm able to be lucid. I'm a giant, stomping the ground, sucking my huge, massive piece of meat, manifesting the best, living the way that I'm intending to be. Here to tell you that everything is beautiful and you have the power to be anything and more. So with that, I feel like I'm gonna, you know, close this beautiful segment about, you know, No Nut November. There's gonna be plenty more, you know, tips along the way. And if I could wrap it up in any way real quick for you, it's more or less about give yourself a chance with your load. You know what I mean? Set yourself a time to grow, and don't ejaculate your load, all right? Just let it, you know, just instead of letting it go out, try to just suck it back in. And that might sound like a weird concept to you, but it's just like right when you're like you're about to do that, you know, like when you're right, you know, when you're right there, you just back it off. Just back it off. And when you're in that motion, like, okay, just suck it in. Just breathe it in, breathe it up. And when you breathe it up, you're essentially, you know, this is Tao practice beliefs, the healing orgasm. Montauk Chi really preaches this, and he can, you know, you could put this into your lungs, you could put this into your, you know, organs and kidneys and a whole bunch of other things. I just tend to put it into my muscles and put it into my penis. I put it into growth, I put it where it need be. And, you know, why not throw it into the hair? If you know, why not? You just throw it where it needs to go. And I never waste any loads either way, because I know it's the life-giving seed, and I know that seed is, you know, essentially stem cells and, you know, the fertilizer of life. So never waste your load. You know, you want to recycle it back in, let it go back to where, let it go into that skin, keep your skin glowing, air flowing, body growing, spirit knowing that you're doing something right. And I know it might sound crazy, but as they say, if you want to, you know, if you either train insane or remain the same, and this is some simple techniques, some simple hacks about getting yourself out of the autopilot mindset to get you into, you know, essentially hack the matrix and help you manifest the best. And that's what I'm all about here in the BCC. So if you really want some, you know, one-on-one, I can, you know, correlate a program depending on you, how you work and, you know, your scheduling. I'm here for you. And with that, we're gonna have plenty more beautiful experiences to come. You guys, you know, I love you guys, man. I'm here for you. We're all a reflection. We're all in this together. We're all here to grow. I intend on you guys to be comfortable in your own skin, to understand that you're beautiful. I intend on you guys to spread love today in any kind of way that you can. Just go out there and just intend on everybody to have the best. Intend on everybody to spread love and feel love in some kind of way. And intend on everybody to have a beautiful day, and you go along your way. And with that, just make sure you guys get at me in the BCC. You know, follow me on my social media. You can see my, you know, my bear, my wolf, my cat C. Of course, give me that Arthur Fonzarelli thumbs up like, so I say, hey. And I know you might not even know who he is, but I really like doing this. And as Rocky Balboa says, yo. No bell. So make sure you ring the bell, you know, the content's updated daily, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'll be here along the way. You guys are beautiful. I love you guys. I'll be seeing you around. Take it easy. Peace.